Hi, Mike. Whoa, where are you at? Where's the beast?
I'm at work. I got to work every once in a while before my 1 o'clock tea time today.
You're like, I'll try to squeeze in work around everything else. That's a great
Yes.
mentality.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, welcome.
I'm going to my first Rangers game this week of the year
You haven't been to one this year? How's that possible?
because I'm not that interested in the team.
Which is crazy because, like, I remember preseason, you were all in. You were excited about the players they were adding. You're looking forward to seeing Seager, and here we are.
And Seager hit 2 home runs yesterday. They still lost, to the Tigers. So I'm just going because I got free tickets. So in a suite, no less. So
Okay.
all right, I'll go for that.
But the life of Mike Moynihan.
Yeah.
You know what? You want me to go and support you? You got to put me in a suite.
Yeah. I'm not going unless it's a suite.
Such a great fan. I love it. Oh man. Well, let's just start with the big one here because you and I were texting about it all weekend. $12.5 million for the mantle.
Yeah.
First off, we've been talking about this stinking thing for a month, so I was glad to see it finally in, but exceeded our expectations, I think, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking 10 to 15 million, and it kind of landed right in the middle of that. And do you think this does anything for the hobby or anything for mantles in particular?
I don't think so. I think maybe it moves the needle a little bit for like the 1% of cards, maybe the less than 1% of cards that are in that tier. Like maybe the next big card gets a little bit more of a bump, but it does nothing else for the rest of the hobby, in my opinion.
I mean, I think it's good for anytime the hobby gets attention,
Yeah.
right? But it feels like this is the same rinse and repeat. There'll be another card in a month or two that becomes the highest selling card. It just,
Yeah.
okay, here's another one, big hairy deal.
Big hairy deal, just another $12 million for some baseball card.
But that's the world that none of us live in.
Yeah.
That none of us even watching this show or will ever watch this show will ever be a part of that.
Agreed.
So it's irrelevant to us. It's like, oh, okay, neat. Like I had some friends, non-card friends, texting me, "Hey, was that your card that you sold?" Because they saw it on the news or something. I'm like, no, I don't play in that world.
Yeah. It's the same thing for me. I had a couple people text it to me, and my response is, does that make you want to buy cards? And the answer has been consistently, not really. It's just cool to see, so it's not like it's not moving people like, oh my gosh, because it's still untouchable in so many ways.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Does that make my 1991 Donruss King Griffey Jr. worth more? Nope. Sorry.
Nope.
But that's too pessimistic. Come on, we got to be more optimistic this morning.
Yeah, that's true. I might be going to look at a vintage collection tonight.
Oh.
Which nice. I've got to call Matt. We may be doing some chasing cardboard for that.
How'd you get connected with this buyer or seller?
I was at a poker night with some friends, and one of the guys was like, "Yeah, I know this guy. He's got some old cards that he's wanting to get rid of." And I said, "Are they really old, or are they just kind of old?" And he said, "No." He said that they're from the 50s and 60s. And I said, my ears perked up, and I went, "Okay, I'll take a look."
Nice.
So that could be a good chasing cardboard segment that I don't have to go anywhere out of state or anything for.
That's ideal for you. You're like, if I can drive 20 minutes and see a sweet vintage collection, sign me up.
But if I have to drive to Tulsa with 6.5 million cards, that's a different issue. By the way, great episode. Matt
did good.
On what's that, episode 9 now? We're already up to 9 episodes on Chasing Cardboard. What have you thought of the response from people from Chasing Cardboard? What you expected, better, worse, overall of it maybe, or that episode in particular?
Well, I think for the series overall, I think it's been overwhelmingly positive, right? You're always going to get haters and stuff like that. it's been a good reminder to tune out like the noise and just kind of keep pressing on. Cause if you love something you're doing, like just go do it, right? Just go put your best foot forward and do it. I mean, we're crossing 11,000 subscribers. I think we're going to hit almost 400,000 views in 4 months, which is crazy to think about. And this last episode was good because I think it was a kind of a switch. Obviously, it was a great collection, but it was more of a let's have some fun. You and I were kind of in the car, building out our character a little bit, you know, our characters. So that was really fun. It was a different element. I've had a blast. I mean, Matt's just so talented and fun to work with, and you're obviously we worked together for so long. We know how to deal with cards. Good experience. I wonder what people think about this recent episode. What did you think about it?
I loved it. I hadn't seen it. Obviously, I lived it, but I didn't see what Matt had done with it until everybody else did, and I kind of like that. I like being surprised. I guess. Oh, it's cool how he did that. But Matt is so talented, and we're blessed that he wants to do this with us, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, the comments that I see on the video are just like every other comment is, so what'd you pay? So what'd you pay? So what'd you pay? And it's like, people, this was a blind auction. Yes, Ty, and by the way, Ty bought it. I didn't. I didn't have anything to do with it. Ty was the crazy one that bought all this. But he paid an amount that is going to be disclosed in episode 2. And we're going to tell you guys. We're not going to keep it from you. It's not like we're hiding any secrets here. But you got to tune into episode 2, which I can't believe it's got to wait 2 weeks till episode 2.
Well, it's only a week and a half now when you're hearing this.
That is true.
Yeah. Well, if you go to the Chasing Cardboard community page, you'll see a poll question asking how much you think we paid for it. And it's curious to already see the different responses. And if you want to throw your guess in there, it'd be fun for those watching. It's
my guess.
No, I'm in general, people watching. Yeah.
I know what you paid. I don't need to.
Yeah. But it's been good. I appreciate everyone on the Bench Clear side just supporting the channel and giving us the love. And it's been quite the journey. It's funny because you mentioned not seeing it until it comes out live. You know, I see like multiple edits and we have to go back and do voiceovers and provide feedback. And by the time the real one, the final one comes out, I'm kind of like, this is good. But it's not like in your case, you're like, wow, this is great for the first time. There's a little bit of that's kind of like, especially when we were doing premieres and people were watching it for the first time and I'd seen it like 15 times. And I'm like, oh, can we get through this part? Can we get to the next one?
I did watch it this time for the first time. I've watched it on my big screen before, but I watched it for the first time on the big screen to see, okay, is this television quality? And it is. I mean, it's just great. It's just really well done, and I'm glad I get to be a part of it. I did get a comment on one of my videos that I should replace you as host of the show, like the primary guy, just so you know.
It's all yours. The reins are all yours.
Nope. Thank you, but I'll pass. That's a hard pass. I got too much other junk going on, but it was fun to go. And I think people, I mean, you and I are like that naturally. Like we banter back and forth and have fun and joke around. And I hope people don't think that we're putting on a show for the show. We're just being us, and you and I have a great time together, and it works.
Yeah. Well, you would be a fantastic host. There's no doubt about that. And you're right. I think people assume that we're trying to like create some sort of fake personality, but like, I think the reason it's worked so well is that we haven't really had to try to be somebody we're not. You know, there's been certain elements where you have to kind of pause and re-say something because it didn't come out quite right. And maybe you don't notice it because Matt's so good at editing. But for the most part, it's just like, dude, just be yourself. And we're totally different people, which is great, right? We really balance each other out pretty well.
Yeah, but the key things in life we're pretty in sync about. And we also love the hobby. I think we both have a deep passion for the hobby. And I mean, people see us going back and forth on this show. So it's not like they should be surprised if they go see the same thing on Chasing Cardboard. That's just who we are. This is just who we are.
Yeah. I mean, de cardboard. It's coming. It's coming.
Come on. That was so good. I know you had to fight to get that part put in the episode.
Yeah, Matt, we knew it was there when we were bantering. And then some of that, we forgot the camera was even rolling. So that was kind of fun. We're like looking back like, oh, I forgot the camera was rolling. I was like, Matt, you got to get that part in. He's like, I watched it. It wasn't that funny. He's like, I'll watch it again to see if it was that funny. I was like, okay, fair enough. Yeah. But anyway, enough of chasing cardboard. Curious question for you. Because you talk a lot about golf. You obviously play a lot of golf. PGA championship just happened, right?
Yeah, the PGA, the Tour Championship
Tour
was
championship.
Rory McIlroy came back in the back nine and won his third FedEx Cup, which is he won $18 million.
That's it.
That's it.
He's like, and I was the winning bidder of the mantle. So actually,
he won, and he won the mantle. No, by the way, I think I know who won the mantle.
Really?
But I'm not allowed to say. So,
is it a group of buyers or an individual buyer?
Individual buyer. Don't get me saying anything else. I'll get myself in trouble.
Is he a YouTuber?
No comment. I'm not saying anything.
Okay, blink with your right eye if his name starts with A through K.
All right, going back to golf.
Okay, so my question to you is this. Golf is wildly popular in the United States and the world. Maybe not so much the world with golf, but like I think of golf and soccer. And soccer's picked up a little momentum. Why do you think it is so hard for those sports that have world appeal, global appeal, to take off in the hobby? What do you think it is that makes it so difficult?
Well, I think golf and soccer have two different problems. I think golf is an individual sport. So you don't have a team and you don't have a local team. You don't have a team you grew up watching and it's generational. There's people that are fans of Jack Nicklaus, and then you got the Tiger Woods generation, and now you've got, the Jordan Spieth generation or whatever. You've got these individual players playing golf, and although they're super amazingly good, not a ton of them are super personable. Not all of them have personalities like Bryson DeChambeau, who is very out there and crazy, kind of has his own YouTube channel. Just not all of them are like that. They're all pretty introverted guys, for the most part. And so you love watching what they do over the weekend at a golf tournament. And Fort Worth has its own golf tournament. The Colonial is here every year. But, it's just hard to, I think, gain momentum in the hobby world when there's no local ties, when there's no local alliances. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does for sure. I think a lot of collecting for me personally is like, I want to collect my local team.
Right.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. I want to go collect the Royals, the Chiefs, and Mizzou Tiger guys. Period. End of question.
Wouldn't the same be said for soccer? When you do have MLS and stuff, but it hasn't been around the way baseball or football or basketball have been around, where you're developing local fan bases that just root for the team. And, oh man, we got this new great guy. And, and soccer's so spread out. The talent is so diluted, right? Because you've got so many different leagues and so many different teams around the world that it becomes difficult for that to pick up momentum. I mean, every 4 years it gets all exciting with the World Cup. Every couple of years, the Ryder Cup or President's Cup. Those are cool events that galvanize the fan base. We're rooting for America, or whatever. But after that, everybody spreads out back to their other teams. Golfers go back to being one-man shows. It's hard to build a hobby base without that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point. I think you could almost make the case that soccer is a very individualized sport as well. Although they're on teams, there's no loyalty to certain brands. Yeah, okay, somebody randomly might like Manchester United out here, right? But it's not like there's a group of us that go and love Manchester United and like live and breathe that team. I feel like there's a lot to be said about the simplicity of football, baseball, basketball. They go to high school, they go to college, you follow them. They get drafted, you follow them. They go to your team, you follow them. Like you can see the line to like stardom. golf, like a randomly, like you get a random winner every once in a while. You get a guy that pops up. You're like, where did he come from? Soccer, you lose track of him almost immediately. If you even follow the guy young, right? It's like more than likely they go over to some European league. They might pop back into the MLS. They might represent your country. It's like it's so hard, and I've tried. It's so hard to understand where the actual path is in the whole soccer world. I don't even know what goes on. Like, what do you collect?
Yeah, it's they. Not that that doesn't mean there aren't passionate fans for that sport. I'm still a passionate fan of golf. I just don't have any interest in going down the rabbit hole of collecting golf stuff. I have a few. I have a Tiger Woods auto, Byron Nelson, Jack Nicklaus. I have a Jack Nicklaus rookie card, a Tiger Woods rookie card. But I'm not going out today looking for Rory McIlroy stuff. I'm just not. Like, that just has no appeal to me, even as a super, diehard collector of just being a collector.
Yeah.
It just doesn't appeal to me. I'm like, that's a rabbit hole. No thanks. So
Yeah.
Even if it was a local guy that went to my college or what, again, it's tough, but I love watching it. That's it's the amazing thing. I love it, love it, love it. Every
Yeah.
major, most weeks I'm following who's winning. And I don't do that with soccer, but there are people like that with soccer that are just as passionate about the sport, but may not, that doesn't necessarily translate to hobby love,
Yeah. Yeah.
two different
I feel
things.
like, yeah. I mean, and I feel like golf's that one sport where you watch it, you see McIlroy win, and it doesn't motivate you to go buy his card, but it motivates you to go play golf.
Right.
Like you see Corey Seager hit 2 home runs, or you see Pujols like stretching to 700. You're like, I'm gonna go buy his cards. I'm not gonna go out and do a home run derby in my backyard.
Right.
There's a different element that it kind of engages in your kind of you as a person. Do you think that there's a little bit of like the normal collector looks at a golfer and says they're not that good of an athlete, and so therefore I don't put them on a pedestal to want to go buy their cards and stuff? Do you think there's a little bit of that?
No, that seems like a stretch.
Okay.
I mean, watch what they do with a golf ball, and you'll think, yeah, that's pretty impressive. Same with soccer; those dudes are amazing athletes. They're like gazelles, the way they can run and the footwork, and I mean, they're amazing athletes. You cannot deny that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think the athleticism is an issue.
What about,
Let's
let's say Panini or Topps? Let's say Topps came out with a Topps Chrome Golf 2022, or Prism, came out with a release 2022 Golf. Would you think that would broaden the appeal of the sport and like generate some collectability, or would just swept under the rug, not really care?
I think it would generate some collectability. I mean, look what happened. Look what's happened to F1 over the last few years.
Yeah.
So I think the brand, the way they present the brand, could help the collect. Like, oh, those are really cool. That can't hurt.
Yeah.
But does it make it I don't think the F1 thing is sustainable. What's going on in F1? I think it's very faddish. And you always have the greats, in soccer cards, Pele, Messi, Ronaldo, you're always going to have these guys that are always collectible.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean everything's going to be collectible. I think that's a big difference.
I think that's a huge point, because in the other, what makes it so hard to go collect those other sports is anybody but the top 1 or 2 guys will never be worth anything. And yeah, you can collect them because you love them, and that's awesome. But like in baseball and basketball and football, so many B guys, C guys, fringe guys will have at least interest in collectability because they'll still be worth something.
Right. Yeah, but Tiger and Jack, those are 2 guys in golf that are always going to, Arnold Palmer will always be collectible.
Always.
Beyond that, I don't know. Phil Mickelson, is he collectible? Some people, again, a very niche world, yes, but I don't know. It's an interesting topic to bring up because everybody, soccer and golf, no questioning the popularity of the sport. Everybody's going to come. So many people watch soccer, and this many people. I get it. No, we're not doubting the popularity of the sport. Is that translatable to hobby? And it's a shame that the answer is probably no long term.
Yeah,
Right?
soccer, you can make a case that it's got some pretty good momentum heading, going forward. A lot of good releases. You feel like the world's kind of coming around and saying, okay, you know what? I want to start collecting these types of cards. The point I've always made is the problem is a lot of these leagues are in countries that are just in a different economic state than us. And if
Right.
America doesn't buy in, if you don't see just a mass appeal on the American side, it's not going to ever do what we think it should do.
Right.
Right. I mean, second,
It
third world
doesn't even,
countries.
you're making a point that it doesn't even make sense. Soccer should be the most popular hobby sport based on view,
100%.
But it's sixth, behind, Tiddlywinks. The Tiddlywinks set that just came out, professional Tiddlywinks. No, I'm joking.
Well, I mean,
what?
behind hockey was probably
Five?
behind hockey. Maybe.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
five. It's fifth, probably. But it's easily the most popular sport in the world.
Yeah.
So again, not we don't need to beat a dead horse here, but what's our next topic?
It's an interesting point. By the way, you should teach a knitting class, as I've watched your hands this entire time you've been doing this. Like you're very good with your fingers there. I'm impressed.
I don't know what to do with my hand. It's like in Talladega Nights when he's doing the interviews. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'll just put them down here.
Every time someone puts their hands up like this, I think of Zoolander and the hand model, right? He's got the tube on the hand. I don't know if your hand's made to be a model, though. It doesn't look.
No, I'm not even going to show them to let anyone else have an opinion on that. Okay.
Yeah. Another pet peeve of mine, I'm just going to throw this out there. Since we're completely on the fly once again, I'm getting tired of every product. So like Prism, Select, Mosaic, Chronicles, Contenders, they all have a draft product now. It's like there's a draft version of every single, flagship release. Are we done? Can we just stop with the draft products for now? I mean, seriously, they don't do that well. They have like a little window of like 1 week where people care, and then they just kind of fall into oblivion. Do you agree? I mean, I know you probably agree because you're just tired of all the products anyway, but I wonder what you watching, folks, what do you think about all these draft products? Are we like watering down every possible type of card now with these draft cards? Actually think it hurts the main flagship release of Select and Prism when you have a draft product of the same thing that comes out months around the same release date.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know if you saw the tweet, but Topps apparently is suspending multiple products indefinitely, including Bowman Draft and Allen and Ginter Archives, and I can't remember the list. I know I'm totally throwing this at you. We didn't even talk about this at all, but I'll have to forward you the tweet.
It's from Topps.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh gosh,
sketchy source material, but I'll send it to you. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't bother me at all if they got rid of the draft products. To that point, I don't care. That'd be fine with me.
Well, Bowman Draft would be the exception for me there, right? I mean, Bowman Draft's the one product that has a long history in the hobby,
right?
But yeah, I mean, well, also reminder, newsflash. I mean, Topps is owned by Fanatics now. Decisions are not Topps anymore, right?
Right.
Gonna be a lot of those changes coming up.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, that was a very good response. Thank you so much. You don't like the draft products?
No. That was very in-depth analysis by myself.
Yeah, it's like I know the answer when I ask about a modern day product with you. I can predict it no matter what the scenario is, and it's usually one word: not interested, or 2 words: not interested, or no.
That's so unfair and yet true. But I like talking about modern stuff. All right. What's next? Anything else modern you want to talk about?
I think next week you should shave your beard.
That's a hard pass on that.
Okay. Got it.
I think you
Okay.
should grow a beard next week.
It would not be beautiful at all.
How about no shave November? I tell you what, we could
Oh
do a
yeah.
bet. We could do a bet where I have to shave my beard.
Okay. Or I can't shave.
Right.
Okay. What's the bet?
Well, we got Cowboys Bucks
No.
coming up.
Let's think about that. We'll have a bet by next week.
Okay.
Let's come up with a good one.
God, I don't want to have to shave my beard, but okay.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna rig this. Do we have to run this through Julie first?
I can always grow it back. It's not the end of the world. It's just going to be, if I shave it now, it'll come back like all gray. Like it's mostly gray now. Are you coming down for the Dallas show, by the way, in a couple weeks?
No, I'm coming down the day after Labor Day. Oh, and in like 8 days.
For what?
We'll have to talk about this off air.
Oh,
Let's just say we're touching up part 2 with some stuff.
oh,
Make
I
sure
didn't know
it's
you
a
were
very
coming.
good. I just booked it.
Okay. I was like, okay. We do everything on the fly here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And 6 million of the cards are in Dallas, so I have to come and actually help with that.
Good point.
Well, cool, man. What do you got coming this week?
Well, I'm doing a Golden Age of Cardboard episode, shooting it tomorrow for Wednesday release on here, with special guest Dave Blue Jacket 66. So very knowledgeable guy. We're going to talk about an awesome set, the 48-49 Leaf set, and
Nice.
kind of dive deep into that. And then I'm doing a video tomorrow on Baseball Collector about sniping tools, and that'll be interesting. I have some thoughts about that.
Gotcha. Is that with like your rifles and stuff, or is that with eBay auctions?
eBay auctions. eBay.
Got it. Got it.
I'm not a sniper with my rifles.
Well, I have Bo back on later this week, 1 million Cubs, to talk about how to build efficiencies in your eBay business.
Nice.
And there's no better guy to talk to than Bo.
Right.
So
Good.
I know a lot of people ask questions about that, so we're going to answer some and rock and roll, man.
Okay. Sounds good.
Have yourself a good week. Make these markets come back up.
I'll work on that. I'll go do that before I go play golf.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
All right. See ya.
Goodbye.